What's up, everyone? Big Sky Bowler coming to you again from Town and Country Lanes in Billings, Montana, and today we are going to talk about the two-handed swing and how it's different from the one-handed swing. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Another key difference between the one-handed bowling and two-handed bowling is the swing. And it is the one thing that I continually see two-handers struggle with. In our last video, we talked about how a one-handed player uses a pendulum-style swing and allows gravity to do the work for them.
Plus 30.
The high end of the spectrum.
Gold standard is Belmonte. Megan mixes up a strike that's good for 30.
A common misconception that many two-handers have is that they should keep this style of swing when attempting the two-handed throw. While it is true that we will use gravity during our swing, we use it at an entirely different time than a one-handed bowler, due to the non-ball side hand having to remain on the ball throughout the entirety of the swing process. Because the non-ball side hand remains on the ball throughout the swing process, this shortens the amount of length that can be created by the swing. This is because we are unable to open our shoulders as a one-handed player does during the swing, which keeps the ball closer to our body throughout the swing process. Keeping the non-ball side hand on the ball also limits our ability to get the ball into a high backswing unless, of course, we bend our ball side elbow. It is entirely possible to achieve a high backswing with a straight ball side elbow. However, to achieve this style of swing, you must be very flexible in the hips, the shoulders, and your torso. To really understand the two-handed swing, we first need to understand the difference between kinetic energy and potential energy. Kinetic energy is generated by forward momentum. This momentum comes from the ball being pushed in the direction of the intended ball path during step 2 of a normal 5-step approach. We are also able to create forward momentum with our body, but that is a topic best saved for a future video about generating ball speed in a two-handed approach. Potential energy is generated by the ball being impacted by the force of gravity. The higher the ball gets in the backswing, the more potential energy we can create. In the one-handed game, the player uses a high push away to generate kinetic energy and potential energy for their backswing. The faster the push away, the more kinetic energy we can create. The higher the push away, the more potential energy we can create for the backswing. If we use a high push away, we are automatically creating a high backswing. And if we use a low push away, we are automatically creating a low backswing. As a two-hander, after the initial push away, we allow the ball to drop into the downswing. As the ball reaches the bottom of the downswing, we run into a problem. Due to the non-ball side hand remaining on the ball, we are essentially killing any kinetic energy we may have gained during the start of the swing process, because our non-ball side hand is another force acting on the ball, which impacts our total kinetic energy. To overcome this, we need to lift the ball into the backswing using our non-ball side hand while keeping the ball side arm and hand completely relaxed. This will allow us to create more potential energy by ensuring that we get the ball into a high backswing. The non-ball side arm needs to remain straight as the ball comes back and up into the swing, while the ball side arm bends at the elbow to allow the ball to raise up. To achieve this swing properly, the swing must not rely on kinetic energy, but instead it needs to rely on the non-ball side arm to lift the ball up into the swing. The higher we get the ball into the backswing, the more potential energy we are creating. The most important part of the two-handed swing is the downswing, as this is where we are either going to use the potential energy we gained or lose it entirely based upon our technique. This is also, in my opinion, the most difficult part of the two-handed swing process, as it requires the bowler to be aware of their ball side elbow during the downswing. To achieve maximum potential energy use, we need to ensure that during the downswing, both arms are relaxed and allowing the weight of the ball to fall into the downswing. If we do not do this during the downswing, the ball side elbow will remain bent during the downswing phase, which will not allow us to use any potential energy we may have created in the backswing. If we allow the downswing to occur as described, the energy will instead be transferred into the ball and forward onto the lane during the release. Now obviously there are multiple methods to use to achieve the proper downswing. I am sure most of you have seen videos of bowlers like Kyle True and Jesper Svensson who have straighter than normal two-handed swings. Likewise, you have seen videos of players like Packy Hanrahan, Jason Belmonte, and others who have a more bent elbow in the swing. Keep in mind, as I stated before, players who use this style of swing have the flexibility required to achieve a straight arm swing throughout the entire swing process. The only real downside to this method of swinging the ball is that you are very limited on your swing height, which limits the amount of potential energy you can create. This forces this style of player to create more kinetic energy with their approach to overcome the lack of potential energy being created in the swing. Now that we fully understand the swing process of a two-handed player, you are probably asking yourself how you can practice this process. First, I recommend that you identify what style of player you are. The taller players tend to use a straighter arm swing, while the shorter players tend to use a more bent arm swing. Taller players normally have a slower approach speed, while shorter players have a faster approach speed. Keep in mind that this is not always the case. Now that we have identified the style of player you are, let's get to work on how we can practice this swing process. Now, in order to practice what we've been talking about today, you're going to want to break everything down into a one-step foul line drill. Grab your ball, walk up to the foul line, make sure you are approximately one step away from the foul line, and practice swinging the ball 2 to 3 times, ensuring that you are using proper shoulder rotation and proper extension of your non-ball side arm. As you can see in this first clip, I'm working purely on keeping my arms as straight as possible in the swing process, and also as you can see, it's limiting the height capabilities of my backswing. In the second clip, you'll notice that I am using a more bent arm swing style, and this allows me to get the ball higher into my backswing, which allows me to create more potential energy during the backswing. As I stated previously, the most important part of this one-step drill is ensuring that your non-ball side arm stays as straight as possible during the backswing and that your ball side arm relaxes in the downswing. Okay guys, so there it is. Hopefully I was able to break this down and make it easier to understand for everyone. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like below and comment on how this helped your game. If you are looking for more two-handed tips, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications so you will be notified about my future videos in this series. Thanks for watching the video today. I will see you guys next time where we will talk about how to increase our ball speed as a two-handed player.